Hello, welcome to this overnight taste challenge. I have two mezcals now. This one is called El Silencio, and it was like $32, 28 to 30. No, it might have been 28 because that's why I bought it because it was the cheapest one they had. But whatever, is in a dark brown bottle. It looks black. If you hold it under direct sunlight, you can see it's like a dark brown bottle with this like matte finish, this like frosted glass finish. It's nice looking. It's definitely one of the best looking mezcal bottles I've got. I think you can see in the front a little piece of that finish chipped off, and you see the glossy glass underneath. El Silencio, the silence. This is a Espadin mezcal, and it was introduced in 2013. It's made in Mexico. There's a distiller's signature. It's 43% alcohol, unlike most of the ones I have, which are 40. This is 43. It's got a handwritten code on there. Bottled under license by El Silencio. So I think it's produced for the company because the company is a resort company. Now then, after I bought this bottle, Mathern's had these for $12. Like about 4 bottles marked down to 12, had a tag on it, 12. I said $12, but it's too late. But I didn't know. You never know what's coming, right? You don't know what they're going to mark down. You just hope you catch it at the right time. But in this case, I did not. But it was worth the price I paid. Now here's Ojo de Tigre. Eye of the Tiger, Ojo de Tigre. This is a blended mezcal. It's a blend of Espadin mezcal and Tobala mezcal, okay? Or the way they don't really explain the process. Is it two different mezcals that are crushed together and then just produced in a single batch? I get the impression that it's two separate mezcals. One on the left hand, one on the right hand, produced separately. And then at the end, before they bottle it, they blend them completely. And then it goes out. That's the impression I get. It's got a flip cap bottle. Got to hold it, scared it would knock over and spill. Okay. This is a good thing because if you're a home brewer or whatever, you could reuse the bottle. See, plastic cap. It's got a rubber seal. So this is a useful thing. I mean, I personally don't know what I would do with it, but other people might find that it's helpful. I've been getting it right most of the time, but I have had a few failures, 2 failures in this challenge, because some of these are so similar one to another. Now, this is simply a twist cap. No cork, no flip top. And it's a Joven, young, unaged. Now, they make other ones. They don't just make this. Although this is the only one I've seen around here. All right, 100%. Well, it says 100% agave, but that's a meaningless statement because it would not be mezcal if it was not 100%. The only mezcal allowed to be sold that can be cut with up to 49% filler is tequila. So if you say, I've never had mezcal, but I've had many tequilas, well, you've had mezcal. Tequila is a particular type of mezcal. And I've had people ask me, do you prefer bourbon or whiskey? Well, bourbon is a type of whiskey. If you've had bourbon, you've had whiskey. You've had a particular type. Of course, you know there's subcategories of bourbon. Yeah, you can see the brown. I can see the brown glass with just that computer monitor light shining through it. Yes. Put it on that comic book box. Each of these boxes holds about 300 comic books. Urjo says, hello, how are you this morning? I'm fine, Urjo. Slept well, woke up very early, but I didn't care. People tell me I go to sleep too early. And I tell them, well, you go to sleep too late. Gets dark, I get sleepy. I wake up. Maybe I'm a reverse night owl, you know? No, I mean, I'm waking up a lot of times when many people are just going to sleep. But that's how I am. And I don't care how other people sleep. If they want to sleep till noon, that's their beeswax. I wouldn't do it. It'd drive me nuts, you know? But anyhow, here is the website. Casa Silencio. Espadin, a mezcal made for mixology. Product details. Now they're telling you right there it's made for what? Cocktails. So it is not a sipping mezcal, but although that's what I'm doing with it. Espadin mix of mezcal is a perfect companion for cocktails. But hey, they're qualifying it, or simply to sip on its own. Okay, good. Thank you. Whew, feel better. A robust flavor profile recalls earthly delights. Hearty taste, providing a subtle spice and pronounced finish, unlike any mezcal or liquor you've encountered in your travels. Well, they're overplaying it. Typical website stuff, company promo. Smoked citrus and earthy greens in the aroma. Slow cook agave roasted sweet potatoes in the flavor. Okay. Finish, charred stone fruit, earthy clay notes, and a hint of salinity and salinity. Offering a sharper taste than our Yo premium blended mezcal and a more authentic agave flavor. This mezcal is perfect for spicing up margaritas. Is this the one I have? Yeah. Espadin. Okay, that's the one. So there's a different one. There's let's see what other ones they've got. There's the ensemble, and I think the ensemble is using different agaves. Different types of agaves. There you go. We're not going to go into all of that because there's no need to at this time. Coming soon. Whatever that's saying. There's a new one coming in to play. And this one's called Rare. Is it Rare? That's probably expensive. You probably won't see that for $35. It comes in a special box. Yeah. Premium, super premium one. So, around you might see this company stuff, but what they are mainly is I'll show you. But yeah, Casa Silencio. It's a resort company. See, they have these expensive rooms you can in these suites. Not a room, a suite. Well, it says rooms. Mexico. And then you can sip the mezcals, eat experience prepared by Chef Jose Carlos Acosta at stone tables. These are people that either have a lot of money or have good credit, want to get in more debt. Well, hopefully they're not doing that. So yeah, so that I think the was come first, and then the tequila is just. I'm sorry, the mezcal is just a end of the resort made for them. I'm trying to see if they're owned by a parent company like some Hospitality International, whatever. Casa del Silencio Hospitality websites. Well, Quality. Could be independent, although they tend to have a get bought out. Tours and tastings must be booked 2 days prior to the visit. 2 adults minimum. All right, that's just the terms. We don't need to see all that. Okay. Ojo de Tigre, Tobala, Espadin Tobala, agaves into the clear mezcal. Now I got the full size bottle. There's a half size you can buy. I don't think those are always. And this Elbow 88 was right. I was confused and blame Pernod-Ricard. Really, I do, because their website is comprehensive and it's very informative, but it tends to be a little clunky. Like, it's not so user friendly. You'll see what I mean. It jumps all over the place. So like you can miss things. Now there's the Schiller's business. You know, so a lot of this is about their business, and if you want to invest in it, see. And they're showing some of their big brands. Everybody's heard of Absolute Vodka, of course. Ballantine Scotch, Beef Eater, Schiegel, Havana Club, Jameson, Malibu, Martell Cognac, Mumm, the champagne. So Royal Salute, Glenlivet. So they own some major brands that's all over the world. And they own Campari owns Wild Turkey. Scratch that. They own Seagram's Gin in the United States, and you know that's big. So they got 200 plus brands of them. And that's where I missed it. See, because over here they're stopping you saying the brands, and you click on it, but then I missed down here where it's showing the Tigre. Now, whether they outright own Ojo de Tigre or they just collaborate with it, I do not know. Because the Ojo de Tigre website's making it seem, making it seem like it's independent. Like the people that started the distillery and all that. Anyway, we're not going to get into all that because it's not really relevant to what we're doing here. DD says buffering a bit. It might be on your end. I'm not noticing anything. Usually I'll get an alert if there's some transmission problems. It'll say video's unstable or whatever. I'm not getting that alert. Yeah, those are huge brands. So Pernod-Ricard is one of the biggest liquor companies in the world. And a lot of their stuff they bought from Seagram's when Seagram's decided to exit the liquor business and invest all their money into like a streaming video, internet media stuff. And it really wasn't Seagram's anyway. It was the Bronfman family who had bought Seagram's back in the 1920s. The Seagram's people. So they sold off all their liquor business over like a 20-year period. They didn't sell it off overnight. They just slowly started selling their brands and distilleries. And then finally in 2000, I think it took till 2002 to get completed, the business transaction, but it was all. And I'm sure Diageo and Sazerac and Jim Beam and Pernod-Ricard were happy about that because they scooped up all these really popular brands. Really popular brands. Such as Crown Royal, the #1 Canadian whiskey in the world. Jameson, the #1 Irish whiskey in the world. Beef Eater, that's a huge gin brand. I'm not a gin guy. I've tried gin and I don't dislike it. I'm just not interested in it. It's not something I would just really want to grab a hold of. Although I know there are video channels that only do gin, and they got thousands and thousands of subscribers and millions of views, perhaps, and people love it. You know, that's just, you can't cover everything. You know, they got some people just do light beers. That's their channel. They review light beers. They probably got a huge channel because look how popular that is. Now you might laugh and say, "Oh, light beer, blah blah blah." Okay, well they like it. All right. Some guys only do those flavored malt beverages. Wouldn't be something I'd want to drink often. I mean, I buy them and try them, you know. But to say I drink them as a regular everyday drink. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm having a hard time finishing that pumpkin ale from Aldi. It's just like after a while, spices and flavor is like, ugh. But for $1.99 a six pack, I wasn't passing it up. It was $1.99 a six pack. I bought 5 six packs. Light beers are huge, especially in the United States. Now in England and Australia, maybe they're not as popular. Canada is pretty popular, but in the USA, they're the king, huh? Now in Japan and Thailand, Vietnam, they like those American adjunct style lagers, you know, Tiger beer, Saigon beer, Angkor beer, and Cambodia. Thailand, they like their Chang. So I mean, it's all very similar to American regular beers, but they love them. Yeah, but heavy beers, dark, heavy, rich, bitter beers in Japan, Oh, there's a growing craft beer market. I'm not going to say there isn't, but it's not huge. I mean, you go to Japan, they mostly drinking what you know regular people. And like when I went to Spain, I walking around, you see all the people sitting at the patio eating at 10 o'clock at night. They eat like, were they drinking craft beer? I don't think so. They were drinking San Miguel and Cruz Campo, mainly Cruz Campo because it's from that region. And they didn't really need craft beer enthusiasts to stop at their table and tell them what they needed to drink. All right. Time to roll. But like I said, I'm not seeing anything about buffering on this end. A lot of times it's coming in on your end. And I've been glad with my internet service because all these streaming videos I watch, I almost never had that problem. They've really jacked up the speed and they've jacked up the prices. It's getting really high on the television end of it. It's too much money to pay for that. I gotta look into this. I like to watch the sports channels and the news channels, but I don't know. It's getting out of hand. But I'm scared to switch to a different provider and then I'll get a low price and low quality, you know. I don't want to go through that. Because I've been getting good service for 22 years with the present company. Usually good service, not always. But yeah, there's a little smokiness here. Can't say what it is. It was buffering a little for me too. Seems fine now. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm not saying you're lying. I just it might have been doing that when I was looking at the screen share. I don't know. You know, this time of night is when they do a lot of internet upgrades. You notice that? Like 2 in the morning till 5 or 6 in the morning. That's when they'll do they might even shut down a site under maintenance for that time because they figure, they're gearing it toward America. They're not looking at stuff, but they're wrong because here we are. All right, but this one's smokier. Is it much smokier? No, just maybe a little bit. So on aroma, I don't know. I don't know. But I think on flavor, I'll get it right because of the 43% alcohol, 43 versus straight 40. Odd number versus even number. It's the same old stuff, black pepper type of feeling, vegetative, juice, namely agave, and a little smoke from the oven, from the charcoal. That's really it. It's just going to be, these are all kind of basic. That's another place in Europe that's on your bucket list. Oh, what's another place? Nothing really. When I was coming back from the trip, I was on the plane thinking, I'm never doing this again. I saw it. I can't stand that 12-hour plane ride or whatever it was, 10 hours coming back. Did I like walking around in Europe and looking at all the sites and everything? Sure. Africa. I was like, I'm in Africa, never thought I'd go to Africa, but I did it, had to take the ship there. Cost, I don't know, it was like $69 round trip. I didn't think that was too bad. I didn't have a vehicle. It would have been more with a vehicle because they had people parking. There was a huge garage in the bottom of the ship where they were parking their cars. But I mean, I saw it, but if it was an hour flight, yeah, I'd go all the time. But sitting on that plane driving me nuts. Have you ever visited any of the battlefields of World War One? No, but I read about them. Okay. All right. This one seems to have more body and less smoke. And if it has more body, and they're both sugary sweet, and if it has more body, I'm thinking it's more alcohol, 43%. That one. Do I find that liquors are sweet? Yes. I find that whiskey and tequila and this mezcal tastes like sugar water to me. Aren't old battlefields just fields? Killing fields. Yeah, they're usually parks, like national parks or state parks. I've been to many American battlefields, many, 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 many. And some are tiny, like in Mississippi, Bryce's Crossroads. It's just like a block, a city block. It's in the middle of the town. But it's a national park. It says it. Bryce's Crossroads National Battlefield, part of the National Park Service. I don't know what the park ranger does. They probably don't have a park ranger. They probably just have somebody from Tennessee that comes down during the month, once a month, check on it, make sure it's kept. Probably have an agreement with the city to keep it, maintained, something like that. But it's interesting. They're not going to give you a tour. They have little information signs where they show you what happened and everything. In Port Hudson, the same way. That's a state battlefield, Louisiana State Battlefield. There's no tour guide. It's got self-tour. That's a hilly part of Louisiana. And down by New Orleans, we got Chalmette National Battlefield. That's owned by the U.S. government. That's a national. That's a tourist attraction for people all over the world. Battle of New Orleans. And they have reenactments every year in January, and that's a big deal. You see, psychics say that old battlefields are full of miserable ghosts. Yeah, and they'll tell you other things too if you pay them. California psychics. All right. Y'all ask me these questions and get me all worked up on it, So, sugary sweet, vegetative, and it has relatively more smoke than the other one, but I wouldn't call this a smoky mezcal. I really wouldn't. I would say it's a mezcal. It's a sugary sweet, vegetative mezcal that has some hints of smoke. But I don't see why somebody would drink this and talk about, oh, golly gee, it's so smoky. I don't see that. Why would you say that? I can't see it. It's like you go to Popeyes and you get their spicy chicken. Well, it might be spicy, but I cannot imagine anybody eating it and remarking about how hot it is. I'm like, what's hot about it? I mean, it might be hot from the oven. Oh, I'm sorry, the fryer. But like spicy heat? Oh, no. No, forget that. It's exactly what they call it, spicy. It just got some spices to give it more flavor, because I call it bland and spicy. They got regular Popeyes or Churches, pick your place. One is bland, I call it bland, and the other one's got flavor. I'll eat the Churches regular and the Popeyes regular, or they call it mild, but it's so bland. It's like, every time I eat a piece, I'm like, why do people buy this? They don't like flavor in their food. Well, what's the story on this? Now, back in the 1970s and 80s, before Popeyes got bought out, They had mild and hot back when it was New Orleans owned. And believe me, it was hot. They weren't kidding around. And I used to not, I didn't like it. It was just too intense. And I was a little kid and a teenager. It was too hot for me. I couldn't stand it. I mean, it was good. The flavor was great, but it was so hot. And when they went nationwide, starting in 1989, when they went nationwide, that was the end of hot. It became mild and spicy. You know what I think they did? I think they took the mild and made it what we today call spicy. They got rid of the hot, and then they brought in a new flavor, which was like, I call bland. All right. So I think that's what they did. They just discontinued hot. They should have kept it in New Orleans because people around here like, how you doing, partner? Says WTD. I'm fine. Thank you. Yeah. Sugary, sweet, vegetative, and basically no smoke. There is just a glimmer of it, but like I say, basically none. They had to start appealing to northern sensibilities, says Briscoe. That's exactly right. So once they started going up to Kentucky and Ohio and New York and Pennsylvania and so forth, that's when they decided, let's get rid of hot and replace it with mild and spicy. And I really believe that the spicy they sell today used to be their mild. Because Popeye's chicken used to have a lot of flavor if you bought the standard version. Now it seemed like it's washed out. Oh, well. Maybe if you go into some parts of New Orleans, you might go to Popeye's and they have Popeye's Classic Hot. You know, it could be a special recipe for that area. I don't know. I know Popeye's in my town has breakfast. Huge breakfast. It's not too expensive either. And they start serving at 5. They already started serving 8 minutes ago. But get on the Popeye's website. They'll never mention breakfast. It's not even listed. It doesn't exist according to the corporate company. It's not a corporate menu item. It's a special locally owned menu item. In other words, the man or woman or whoever owns that franchise there has always served breakfast. And I think it's just their own thing that they do. And the cars will be lined up. They have grits, scrambled eggs, and meat. You can get bacon, ham, or they say steak, but it's really chicken fried steak. But if you, and a biscuit, the sourdough biscuit, you eat that breakfast, you won't be, I don't think you'll be too hungry for lunch. I get it everywhere. I get it occasionally, but it's so much. They give you so much. It's just, it's like you can't, and it's so messy, you know, it's like, it'd be hot. All right. So if I was going to get a fast food breakfast, my first choice would clearly be Popeye's, except I can only get it at this one location in the world, probably. All right. So which one do I prefer? Whichever one was cheaper, I'll tell you the truth. But I do like that little tiny, like I said, glimmer of smoke, which I think is the Ojo de Tigre. The 43% alcohol, I think that's giving it more body. So that's the El Silencio that had the smoke. Well, 3 losses. That's got me aggravated, but I can't help it. I'm doing the best I can. Doing the best I can to tell these apart. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong now 3 times, but it's not intentional, of course. But that's been my contention all along with this mezcal. That's what I've been saying all along. They're basically all the same. People make a big thing out of it, like, oh, this one is this and that one is that. And I'm tasting them. I'm like, really? Because they're all like 90% the same or more. Burley Sullivan says, you. Hey, cheers back to you. So I'm really starting to think that these mezcals are very much alike. And you say, well, why you keep buying them and doing the challenges and you get the same results? I don't know. But I guess I'll keep doing it. Probably won't change. What about tequila? Well, there seems to be a little bit more differentiation with those. Not enormous, but there is some. Now, whiskey. What about whiskey? Yes, I do think there's more differentiation, but it's not as profound as you may want to believe. Like you get bourbon and you say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to wait in the cold at 5:30 this morning because they got some Eagle Rare coming in. And I'm on a list. And I got my $75. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. But they about to have it. I don't know. I just think bourbon is overplayed with like the way people talk about it. This, that, and other thing. And then I taste them and I'm like, you paid so. I don't understand it. But anyway, y'all take care and I'll try to do better next time. Bye-bye.